My buddy started a fight pulling leg hair. Senior year of college, we have a intramural basketball game, and we're basically missing all of our starters. My buddy was out with a knee. I hurt my ankle. We're missing like 3 or 4 of our starters. Okay, so we bring in all of our freshmen, and one of our freshmen was my little Jarrett. And I tell Jarrett before the game, like, we're gonna need you to bring the energy tonight because we're missing a lot of our good players. And he's like, "Oh, I got you, I got you." Before the game, he tells us in high school 2 things he used to do to get in kids' head was when they would shoot a jump shot, he would run out, and on the closeout, instead of just putting his hands up, he would snap his fingers right at their feet. So they'd think that he was like closing out too close to him, but it was really just him snapping his fingers. Another thing that he said he would do was when they were shooting free throws, he would reach down and pull their leg hair when everyone was lined up on the free throw line. I was totally like, yeah, dude, you should do that. Like, that's a good way to kind of spark the energy, get in their head a little bit because we're down. We're not going to win this game, but that might be a way to help keep it close if you can get in some of their shooters' heads or whatever. We're probably like halfway through the second quarter, and he's pulling leg hair, snapping his fingers while the refs give him a warning. They're like, you can't do that. From a getting in the opponent's head strategy, it totally worked because their little point guard on their team's like, he's fucking snapping his fingers every time he closes out, and the ref's like, yeah, you can't do that, man. Well, he keeps pulling people's leg hair. And it was so funny because normally when you're in the game, you don't notice this stuff. It was 10 times funnier to watch from the bench. I was actually really glad that I was hurt that game because getting to watch all their players are like talking to each other. Like you hear him. Is he pulling? Is he pulling your leg hair? Is he grabbing your leg hair on the free throw line? And they're like, yeah, which kid is it? So they start trying to figure out who's pulling the leg hair. They realize it's Jarrett. So they go up to the refs and they're like, hey, I think he's pulling his leg hair. Well, of course, couple plays down, there's a foul. He's at the free throw line and pulls another kid's leg hair. And the ref's like, you do something again, and you're getting thrown out of the game. And we're down like 15, 20 points at this point. Call a timeout. We tell Jarrett, like, hey, you're going to guard their point guard on this possession. Try to get a steal. So we've got Jarrett guarding their point guard, and he comes down. Mind you, this is the kid who he's been pulling his leg hair all night. So it was building towards something. He's guarding the kid. The kid goes for a crossover. And he goes to steal the ball. But we watch it happen. It's a perfect nut tap. And then Jarrett drops back. They didn't call a reach yet, so Jarrett takes a few steps back, gets back in defensive position. And all of a sudden, the kid just picks up the ball and whips it, hits him. And we're all like, what? What just happened? We start laughing on the bench because we're like, okay, what just happened? And then Jarrett caught the ball when he threw it at him, so he's like, holding the ball, and he's looking at the ref. Well, before the ref can even do anything, this little point guard, mind you, Jarrett's like 6'6", probably 240 something. So he's a big ass dude. This little point guard comes up and starts trying to punch him and tackle him. The kid throws 2 punches that don't even reach Jarrett's face, and then just bear hugs him and starts trying to drive him back. Well, of course, a bunch of whistles start blowing, and Delta Chi's bench and their whole cheering section clears onto the court. Well, here comes all of our guys. And it was so funny because when he initially tackles Jarrett just looks down and then looks at me like, what's going on? And then once the kid started punching him in the ribs, Jarrett puts the kid in a headlock. Well, he's so small. As soon as Jarrett turns, the kid's feet come off the ground. So he's whipping this kid around like a rag doll. And then all the fraternities come together on the court. So, and this is where it was such a funny, is the most stereotypical fraternity fight because Jarrett and the kid are the only ones making any contact. I go running in there like trying to break it up because I'm worried someone's going to get hit, right? I realize nobody's doing anything. It's just a couple mobs yelling at each other, the occasional push or shove. So when I came in and did this, everybody just stops. The fight just ended. Nobody even threw a punch. One of the guys at Delta Chi videotapes it, right? So he sends it to my buddy who I was living with at the time. So we were laughing about that shit for the rest of the night, man. It was such a funny fight. To get mad about the leg hair and stuff, totally warranted. But the fact that the kid thought the nut tap was intentional because of what had been happening. All he was trying to do was steal the ball. Like we had told him before, like try to steal the ball. The kid thought that Jarrett was trying to nut tap him on purpose after everything else had transpired. So it was such a funny thing to watch from the bench, from a perspective standpoint, to see that build and build and build, and then it became this totally unexpected fight. And they called the game after that because we were down like 20 points with like 10 minutes left. They're like, the game's over. We're just going to call the game. We're like, yeah, that's fine. We don't even care. We were just trying to see what our freshmen looked like without us. And here we are. We're starting fights. Like I said, intramural sports, not even just in college. Like, that's one thing in my mid-20s now. I just wish I could get some guys to play in like a men's league of any sport. I would play fucking soccer with somebody. I'm telling you, it's just like nobody wants to do anything anymore. It drives me crazy. And I get it. Like, mid-20s, we're trying to figure out our careers and figure out our lives and all that stuff. But it's like, can we have a little bit of fun? Can we do something as a group? Anyone besides getting together once every 6 months to drink? Like, can we play some sports or do something active? I guess that's just me venting about my age. But that was one of my favorite stories. And like I said, intramural sports, if you're young enough to play them, just participate. Especially if you get a good group of friends to play with. There's nothing more enjoyable than that. So that's today's episode. Jarrett, hope you're well. Funniest son of a bitch I've ever met. And yeah, that's today's episode. See you soon. Talks to Tom. Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more. See no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street getting paid, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by